Yamaha presents the Whitetail Diaries, chronicling hunting adventures of the most plentiful and intelligent big game animal in North America. Join top whitetail hunters nationwide. Embark on the amazing adventure that is hunting the whitetail deer.
For me, hunting out of a tripod has always been a pleasure and an exciting thing because you're in that open air. It kind of brings back the early days of hunting in a tree stand, but where I hunt most of the time now, we don't have a tree big enough to hang a tree stand, so the tripod allows us to be able to maneuver ourselves into situations and places where we can get elevated to get that advantage over the whitetail deer in these cases here and have an opportunity to be able to study the deer and then take a good shot.
Tripods offer the freedom and flexibility to hunt your property in places you normally couldn't and follow the deer traffic, giving hunters a better chance at harvesting the deer they want.
You know, a tripod comes in a lot of different sizes. You know, you can find them 10 foot and I've seen them as high as 25 foot. And you can maneuver these into various places where you're gonna find success. You know, there's times where I'll push it up under an oak tree. There's times when I'll bury it into mesquites. There'll be times when I put it on field edges because I want elevation to be able to see what's coming and going. Regardless of the situation that you're using, again, a tripod is one of the biggest assets that a hunter can find.
Scott Whitted from Do All Outdoors joined us on the Nooner Ranch, hoping to go after a good management buck.
That was one of my first times actually hunting from a tripod. I've always been either a lock-on or a ladder stand person. I like the way you can tuck it into the trees a little bit and you got the height. So it was great from a visual standpoint. You're up in the air just like you would be in a ladder stand. But the nice part about it is it pivots. You know, the tripod stand we ran, it would pivot to my left and my right, so I could, you know, go back and forth and pivot to my right a little bit or back to the left and get better angles and see animals differently. Day one was the night before the hunt. When we got here, Wade had said that they were expecting fog in the morning, and I didn't think anything of it. I just thought, you know, it's fog, it'll be lifter once the sun comes up. And we got to the stand at about 6:15, so we had about a half an hour before light, and it was extremely foggy. Like, couldn't see 20 yards in front of the stand foggy. And it never went away. We sat there for basically 3 hours and the fog would come and go, and I think the maximum I could see was 45 yards. Is that him? Oh, I like that deer. I like that deer a lot. It was actually really exciting because you'd see deer move in and out of the fog, and from where I was standing, or where I was sitting, I mean, there was one deer in particular that we got on film, and he came through the fog, and it was just like all of a sudden you just saw his body, and then all of a sudden his horns appeared, and so it was pretty exciting. And you never got a really good, crisp view of any deer actually, unless I walked within 15 yards of the stand. So you know you had animals out there, you could see the horns, you could see the bodies, but you could never really truly define how big of an animal it was. So it made for a really cool hunt. It would have been very hard to shoot something that morning just because of you didn't really know what you had, but it was actually an outstanding experience.
Let's take a closer look at what Scott has brought with him out in the field for this hunt. Whitetail Diaries presents Fully Loaded, getting you geared up from head to toe for every hunt.
Some of the things we're using, I was wearing a full line of Cryptek. This is the Highlander pattern. And what the Highlander pattern does is when you're tucked back in trees, whether it's in a darker area or you're more in open country, it's a transitional camo pattern. So it kind of adapts to either the shadows or the brightness of the sun or the trees and things like that. So it's a very transitional that way, and the pattern will almost adapt to what you're sitting in. And then was using the Thompson Center Dimension in a .308 caliber. I was very confident in the Thompson Center that it was going to perform, and using a pair of 10x42 Nikon binoculars, which allowed me to get a nice field of view. What I liked about them too is as I got closer to the evenings, I still had good brightness, so I could look at an animal 100 yards away and still see with clarity that what it was, or if the new animal came out, I could check it out. And then we were in a big game tripod, and again, really liked that stand. It was stable, but my favorite part about it was not only the shooting rail, but the fact that I could pivot quietly to my left and my right in that stand, and I really liked that part about it.
When the Whitetail Diaries returns, Scott is moving tripods for day 2 of his hunt. The Yamaha Whitetail Diaries is brought to you in part by Yamaha ATVs and side-by-sides, real world tough. Cabela's, it's in your nature. Garmin, the power of simple. And by Nikon Sport Optics.
Julie Goloski, Smith&Wesson Consumer Program Manager and World Champion Shooter.
Joe Zanetti, Smith&Wesson Finishing Specialist and lifelong hunter.
Jim Dalton, Smith&Wesson Master Gunsmith. I shoot competitively, and so does my son.
Our people, our products, our passion. Smith&Wesson.
Welcome back to the Yamaha Whitetail Diaries. Well, we're on the Nooner Ranch with Scott Whitted from Do All Outdoors. Sighting your rifle is mandatory before any hunt at the Nooner Ranch, and no one knows the importance of making sure your shots are accurate more than Do All Outdoors. Do All Outdoors takes pride in providing affordable, durable, and reliable clay target throwers, targeting systems, and master-crafted outdoor accessories. With a line that includes everything from ground-bouncing reactive targets to shooting sticks and field dressing accessories, with Do All Outdoors, you can literally do it all. The self-healing Impact Seal ground-bouncing reactive targets were originally designed for military, law enforcement, and fast-action pistol training. These action targets are unpredictable, challenging the shooter to locate and readjust for every shot. All in the name of making sure when you get out in the field, you're prepared to make a good, clean harvest. For more on the complete line of Do All Outdoors products, visit doalloutdoors.com. Back to the hunt. Well, Scott's first day in his tripod was very foggy, but he's moved locations and is excited about his new opportunities.
The weather's changed quite a bit, and we want to find a little bit more open area because not only has the weather changed, but the buck's attitude has changed in the last 48 hours. We've watched them go from being kind of attentive to the does to getting a little bit more aggressive towards the does. We've seen more deer chasing does, so we're going to hit this food plot this evening.
You know, in Scott's situation here, we had been hunting in the mornings and we hadn't had a lot of luck that we were expecting, and we decided to basically pack that tripod up and move to another location. And the situation now is the deer are going to be bedding out in front of him, and they're gonna be working out past the feeder and out into the food plot for an evening set. And we basically just taken this tripod and pushed it up underneath an overhanging tree. It's giving him good darkness. You got the sun's gonna be setting behind him, wind's in his face. It's really a perfect setup, and it's once again shows the versatility that a tripod offers you.
I love sitting on food plots. I love the whole idea of them. I really enjoy the management part of it, and seeing a big food plot like that got me pretty excited. And one of the other reasons I like being on a food plot is it's a much more open area. So as opposed to where my sits were in the last 3 sits, which were a little bit limited with my view, I could see a long ways out this food plot. You know, we probably went a half an hour without seeing anything, and I was looking to my right and my left, and then right about 5 o'clock, probably 2 does came out, and they came out right to my immediate left, and they kind of walked up the tree line, up the food plot, and which is exactly where, if a different deer came out, I wanted them to come because I had an opening there. And they came out, and they were out there for probably 5 minutes, and I saw them snap their heads back, and they looked back in the woods, and I pulled up my binoculars again, and I could see a body coming through the woods, and it was a big body, so I had a pretty good idea it was that same 10-pointer. He came out and greeted the ladies a little bit, and he just started to feed too, and they probably were out there for 2 minutes at the most, and all of a sudden he lifted his head up and looked back, and I didn't pay attention, but I heard trees moving. I looked back, and there was this 6x6 that was just working this tree over, and he was thrashing his head, and it was actually great. He was obviously announcing his presence to the other animals when he came out. When he said that I was going to be able to harvest that animal, I was surprised. I almost couldn't believe it. My breathing just jumped, and my heart started just pounding, and it was just like, oh my goodness, this is going to become a reality here. I'm going to get an opportunity at this animal. And at that point, it went from, that is a really nice looking deer, to, holy smokes, I'm going to get a chance to try to get this deer. That's the biggest deer I've ever shot in my life. The experience of it, everything just completely changed in a matter of 1 second when Wade said that was going to be the animal that we're going to be able to harvest. Just a great moment for me, and just loved, great opportunity, and couldn't be any happier. And there he is. Look at that. It is beyond a pleasant surprise that he's a 6x6. Oh my goodness. What a great deer.
Congratulations, Scott, on coming to the Nooner Ranch and taking an excellent mature whitetail buck. If you'd like to hunt the Nooner Ranch, give them a call at 210-508-0113 or visit noonerranch.com. More tripod hunting action when the Whitetail Diaries returns. Get your harvest from the ground to your table with a Bradley Smoker. Food smoking made easy. Find your Bradley Smoker at your neighborhood Cabela's or visit Cabelas.com.
My passion is rim fires. Which is why I hold the spot-on advantage. And there are a million more like me, using spot-on to build confidence when shooting farther with more precision than ever before. The next generation of shooting accuracy has arrived. Join us.
Unlike farmers, hunters usually only get to plow and plant their food plots on weekends. So the number one complaint is that the plot didn't come up or the stand was thin. Delta Ag has developed a 3-step process that focuses on the soil, seed, and plant. And after many years of real-life situations, Delta Ag has found this concept to be a solid foundation to build crop performance from the ground up. For more information, visit our website at seedcoat.com or see your local dealer.
Smith&Wesson Consumer Program Manager and World Champion Shooter.
Joe Zanetti, Smith&Wesson Finishing Specialist and lifelong hunter.
Jim Dalton, Smith&Wesson Master Gunsmith. I shoot competitively, and so does my son.
Our people, our products, our passion. Smith&Wesson.
The Yamaha Whitetail Diaries is brought to you in part by Thompson Center Arms, America's master gun maker. Smith&Wesson, made in the USA since 1852. Delta Ag Formulations, improving plant performance. 10-Point Crossbow Technologies, there is no substitute. Welcome back to the Yamaha Whitetail Diaries. We're hunting out of tripod stands and having some great success.
It's not uncommon for me when I've got a tripod set up in one area to literally pick it up after that hunt and move it to another location I think is going to be better. And it's that ability to be very mobile that I really like about a tripod. You know, you can lift it up with a buddy, throw it in the back of a truck. Some of them collapse, and next thing you know, you've got to set up for an evening hunt. And that ability to be mobile and to be flexible in your hunting locations really makes a tripod one of the most versatile hunting tools you can find on the market today.
Let's head over to the Whitetail Diaries deer camp, where a big group of guys from Cabela's have arrived, and they brought lots of new toys for us to put to test in the field.
It's real life, something that you can't get. You're sitting at the table trying to develop something. You know, when you're, back at the office, trying to come up with different ideas. Here, you get to take it out in the field, you actually get to use it. You get input from the other guys, you get to kind of brainstorm a little bit and see it firsthand, especially what people are seeing down here compared to where you would see it somewhere else in the country.
Wade and the crew will be heading out with Jamie Guggen Moss. Their first spot has a box blind already set up, so there's no need for the tripod stand yet, but with the rut going on, they're keeping the tripod on standby.
Well, a little bit slow. We did see a little bit of boom, but still pretty warm this morning. So saw a couple does that were kind of milling around a little bit, and then had one buck that was kind of pushing them around, so that's encouraging. That it looks like the rut's kind of starting to pick up a little bit. We'll see what happens this afternoon.
Jamie's day one afternoon hunt was also hot and relatively uneventful, so he's heading back to camp to regroup before day two. The morning temperatures are cooler than day one, and the rut has kicked off.
Well, our third set, which would have been the second morning that we were here, we did see a nice 9. He did have a broken tine on the one side, but he was tall. He was a little bit outside of his ears. Just a good, respectable deer for especially down in this area. We looked at him really hard. Thought about taking him, but he did have that broken tine, so we figured, well, we might be able to do a little better than that, or if we need to, I guess we could always go back and see if we could find him again. But we decided to pass on that deer.
The rut will certainly get the deer moving, but it can also cause deer to leave their normal home range when pursuing does. When moving into new territory and combined with the rut, bucks tend to be more aggressive towards each other, which causes more tines to be broken off. Jamie now has the challenge of not only fast-moving targets, but fighting bucks with broken antlers. When the Whitetail Diaries returns, the clock is ticking on Jamie's hunt, but it's not over till it's over.
I trust this muzzleloader every time, because next time could be that once in a lifetime. It's about that one shot that makes all the time I put in worth it. That one trophy that just consumes your mind. That one moment that didn't get away. When you're a Thompson center hunter and every hunt is a chance to outdo the last, the hunt never ends.
At Amphibia, we've resolved to build a product that nobody else offers, using methods that nobody else is using, optimized for life on water and land. The choice of top bass fishing pros. Amphibia frames are designed to fit comfortably no matter how your face is shaped, to stay firmly in place through your most physical activities, and to float in water. Amphibia sunglasses are truly designed for life on the water.
When you change the game, you make the rules. Introducing the all-new Stealth SS from 10 Point, the most compact crossbow we've ever created. 10 Point, there is no substitute.
Get lost in the hunt, not the wilderness. Hunt with Garmin.
When you change the game, you make the rules. Introducing the all-new Vapor from 10 Point, the most technologically advanced crossbow ever created. 10 Point, there is no substitute.
Faster.
Smarter.
More powerful.
The new ZX7 processor from Stealth Can. The game has changed.
Welcome back to the Yamaha Whitetail Diaries. We're hunting with Cabela's Jamie Guggen Moss, who's seen a lot of rutting activity on his hunt here in South Texas, but time is running out, and the Whitetail Diaries crew has decided to move Jamie over to a tripod stand, where they think he might have better success.
Well, it's the last afternoon of the last day, so we kind of pulled out all the stops and changed things up a little bit, went to the far, far end of the ranch. I don't think anybody's hunted this area at all this year, so hopefully it'll be good. I know that they've seen some pretty good deer over here earlier this year, so hoping for the best. Just try to mix it up and see what happens.
You know, the place where Jamie's hunting, we've kind of had some challenges back there in the past. There's a box blind nearby, there's a feeding area nearby, and the deer, they just kind of materialize there. And it's always been a challenging spot, but there's always been several good deer coming in that area. We decided this year to basically take a tripod and bury it into a big mesquite spot to give the hunter some different angles that we haven't had before. We brushed it in a little bit and just kind of threw him in here. And it shows again the diversity that a tripod allows you to be able to move at a moment's notice. You know, it takes maybe an hour to set this type of a situation up, and you're good to go for future hunts. And really what we're hoping for is the deer now will come out in some of those areas at different angles and give Jamie the perfect shot.
Two does coming out. There's a real tall. Looks like he's a 8. Coming narrow but tall. You know, we had that one real tall, looked like a real tall 10. Kind of let him walk, and I was kind of kicking myself after that for a little bit, thinking, man, I should have shot him. And right before dark, you know, I saw this other one come out. Here comes one. I could see him working through the trees just when he first came out. We cut across, and I could tell that he had a big frame on it. And I knew that was a good one to take a look at anyway, and he was definitely a shooter. He's a good one. That's a 10. Yeah, he's a good one. That's a 10. He's about 4 years old. I didn't know if it was going to happen or not. Boy, he came out just right there before dark and hung around in the back of those trees, and I didn't think he was going to present himself. Boy, he just finally made the commitment to go across that opening, and didn't have a whole lot of time left, but we were able to get a shot off on him. Jeez, I'm shaking like a leaf. Whew, pretty excited. Man, excited, a little nervous, still shaking a little bit. That was pretty awesome. Well, kind of waited till the last minute of the last day, but we got it done. Nice deer, very happy with it.
Well, that was another successful entry in the Yamaha Whitetail Diaries. Jamie was able to get his buck in the 11th hour, and we couldn't be happier for him. Thanks for watching. Join us next week, won't you, for another exciting entry in the Yamaha Whitetail Diaries. Want to win a hunt? It's simple. Find Whitetail Diaries on Facebook and click the like button. You can follow along with Wade and the crew in the field and be eligible to win tons of sponsor giveaways and your chance to enter the Win a Hunt with Wade Middleton sweepstakes.
Whew, shaking.